Transit agencies face the need for prolonged detours on a regular basis due to things such as roadwork and temporary closures of streets for events such as marathons and festivals. Streets service interruption functionality helps agencies manage these detours while maintaining a high level of customer service and continuing to collect important data. Service interruptions can be quickly and easily created within the Street Schedule application. It allows agencies to plan out route deviations, populate them with temporary stops, and assign announcement triggers to those temporary stops. It is important to note that if an interruption is going to span more than one schedule, your spring and summer schedules for example, you do not need to create a service interruption for both. A single service interruption can be applied to the current as well as future schedules. Let me show you how to go about creating a new service interruption. One of the first things I need to do, besides giving it a name, is to select a range of time that the interruption will last. If I don't know how long the detour needs to be in place, I don't need to specify a date, and the detour will remain in effect until it is no longer required. If I do specify an end date and time, the regular schedule will automatically resume when the schedule interruption expires. This means that someone doesn't need to remember to turn off the detour. We realize that detours may only be required for parts of a day. For example, in some cases, roadwork may only occur during non-rush hour time periods. In those circumstances, I could specify the hours during which the detour needs to be in place, and the regular schedule will automatically continue to be in effect during non-detour time periods. A service interruption may impact multiple routes. I can quickly add the routes that will be affected by the interruption. I then select the pattern I wish to edit, and as you can see, a large map screen appears. I can either use the drop-down to select the start and end points, or right-click on a stop to make it the start or end of the detour. Once I have my start and end point, I can draw the detour as easily as creating a pattern in Streets. I can add temporary bus stops along the detour, and just like I do for a normal schedule, I can assign peripheral actions to these stops, including internal or external announcements and head sign changes, such that all these actions are triggered automatically. A great time-saving feature in service interruptions is the ability to copy a shared detour to other routes and patterns. Once I have created the detours for the affected routes, I select the interruption to Ready mode, and the interruption will automatically activate on the specified start date. It's important that dispatchers have visibility of any service interruptions. In Streets Dispatch, they are able to review any current as well as upcoming interruptions. Streets also makes active detours apparent to the dispatcher in multiple locations by displaying traffic cone icons along with relevant information about the detour. On the AVL map, dispatchers can see both the original path and the detour path. If they like, they can even filter the map display to view routes that currently have an associated detour. Bus drivers really like how the service interruption feature helps them. A veteran driver once mentioned that he would have a piece of paper that outlined the detour path he was to take, and more often than not, he'd forget where he was supposed to turn. When he did remember to turn, the responsibility to announce the temporary stop would fall to him. Now, the ranger highlights and provides detour information to drivers. If an agency is using mobility maps, drivers will see a visual representation of the detour. And as far as making announcements or changing signs, Streets takes care of that. And if a driver does miss his turn, the dispatcher will see a route adherence event appear in his or her event management window. The last item I want to touch on is reporting. Streets collects data for detour routes, the same as it does for a regular route. Therefore, you have the ability to include all your detour miles along with your regular scheduled miles. You'll be able to measure and perform analytics on ridership at temporary stops just the same as regular stops. And with the data Streets collects, you'll be able to assess how detours impact the service your agency provides. Thank you for letting me share how Streets service interruptions can help you manage detours effectively for your agency.